there, so you like reminiscing over old telly, it seems. Well, the guys have been kind enough to give us a tick to tell you about another podcast you might like.
Yes, we're the show host for the Sitcom Archive Deep Dive Overdrive, a podcast that goes way beyond obsessive when it comes to our favourite British sitcoms of days gone by.
Oh god, yes. We go the full hog and deep dive week by week, every single episode, made of the sitcoms that we choose for the show.
And Season 1...
Series 1, Ben, we are British.
Oh yes, sorry, Series 1 is all about the good life.
We're looking at every episode, the fashions, the gin consumption, the sneaky cigarette theft, the swinging, sustainability, and of course, the superb writing and performances.
Yes, and when we're finished, it'll be on to another old classic to kick the arse out of, won't it?
Yes, maybe the young ones?
Or porridge, maybe?
The world is our lobster.
So join us and take a deep dive into all things the good life with the Sitcom Archive Deep Dive Overdrive podcast.
Or Sado.
Because basically we're a couple of saddos.
Speak for yourself.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast, where three lifelong friends talk about movies and TV shows that we like and also dislike. My name is Austin.
I'm Chris.
I'm George.
And we're three lifelong friends. How long have we known each other now, guys?
8 inches. What?
How long have we known each other?
Middle school?
Since the days of Swainston in North Las Vegas. What is that? 8-9 years now?
I just found out we graduated 4 years ago. So
is there a reunions for middle school? Are we gonna have to go to a 10-year middle school reunion?
Dad told me to spell iCup. Well, now I'm an astronaut.
Let's see who really won there. No, but Christian, you and I have known each other since elementary school, and then we met George in 6th grade. I had him in a science class, and I probably should have just switched classes, but here we are now.
Yeah, no, Miss Jaskowski.
No, it's Mr. Schultz.
Oh, that was Mr. Schultz.
Yeah, and then we had her again 7th grade.
Yeah, science class for us was fucking. Did we get anything accomplished those first 2 years? Like, seriously, we had Mr. Schultz was cool with us doing absolutely nothing, and then Miss Jaskowski, where kids would try to kill her with Axe body spray.
She would have an asthma attack, so they'd
Chemical
be
warfare.
That's the first chemical warfare I ever saw, Chris, was in that classroom. I walked in one day and you'd have thought you were in the Axe factory. I remember it was specifically Kid PJ sprayed a shit ton of it in his backpack so he wouldn't get caught. But you know how Axe is.
He emptied the can.
The fog just took up the classroom. And then it's passing period. As we're walking up, you just see Miss Jaskowski walk out just.
But then you would see like from Monsters Inc. when the spider dude's chasing Sully, he's like that was the hall monitors running in. We got him, boys, we got him. But then PJ would already be gone.
Yeah, no, PJ is one of those white kids that probably lives out in Pahrump right now and is just causing havoc out there. I don't know. Do you guys know PJ?
Philip, yeah.
Philip, that's the impression that you gave me from middle school, is that you're somebody that lives out in Pahrump and drives an ATV. You probably live with Trevor out in GTA. That's what I got from you.
Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's actually get to what we're here to talk about. We decided to start a podcast talking about movies and TV shows that we like and also don't like. Because if we can't have an opinion, what's the point?
Yeah, and I want people to understand that by no means are we cinematography experts. These are just guys being dudes talking movies. And you'll hear it from me when I list my top 5 favorite movies. You'll be like, oh, I get the vibe of this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What could be better? Guys being dudes.
Hey, we're just bros being dudes. Sometimes we like movies. Sometimes it kind of stink, bro. That's just the deal that's going on here.
Well, as George just alluded to, we're going to go ahead and get started with our top 5 favorite movies. We all came prepared with a list for you guys. So I think the way we should do this is we'll each go down the line. So we'll start with George first. He'll say his number 5. I'll say my number 5. Chris will say his number 5, and we'll discuss them as they get brought up.
Hey, mine's not in an order though.
That's fine. Just whatever.
Right, so I'll just list a one of them out of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, perfect. So no particular order. top 5 for me. You want me to go all 5 or just one right now?
We'll just do one. Just one at a time.
One. Recently came out, Uncut Gems. Do you want me to go into it?
Yeah,
Why?
go ahead.
Here we go.
So
Uncut Gems.
I've heard mixed things about it, so I want to hear what you say.
Uncut Gems. I relate to this movie so deeply because I come from a household that likes to sports gamble. So when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh shit, this dude's putting lines on games. You know what I mean? Adam Sandler in a role that you're not used to seeing him in. You see him in all these comedies, but then you're like, oh shit, he's serious in this film. But it ties together sports gambling. It ties together like how crazy that lifestyle is. And I've seen it in with my own eyes, gambling in sports this year, how fucking intense it is when you're watching a game and you're like, I have so much money riding on this dude hitting a shot, thousands of miles away, but I'm watching on TV. I'm on the edge of my seat. And that's how I felt the entire movie. And I think it's Adam Sandler is just like one of his finest movies for sure. And how you tie it together from this gem that you get out in Africa. My God, like how do you come up with that brilliance? But anyways, that's my number one, Uncut Gems.
All right. So I'm going in an opposite order. I'm going from number 5 to number 1, but no big deal. We're just here to talk about them.
Yeah, mine was not in order. I put Uncut Gems. I would be so tough to number these.
Okay.
Mine are a lot of different ones, so I'm in like a same boat where it's hard.
Yeah, mine are kind of the same. I just have them 1 through 5 as like which ones I've seen the most, which ones I like the most, but who cares? So I'll go with number 5 for me, and hopefully my haters love me. Cars 2.
Why Cars 2 over Cars 1? You have to justify it. Is there a Cars 3? Remind me.
Yeah, there's a Cars 3. Bro,
okay.
Mater's a secret agent, dog. What more do you need?
Okay, look. I haven't seen the Cars movies in a hot minute. You got to remind me what the hell happened.
So basically, Mater gets like mixed up in a bathroom at this race event that Lightning McQueen's at, and he gets like mistaken for like a secret agent, and that's like the whole movie. He's just like, well, howdy, I like to find out stuff too, and then he's just a secret agent the whole movie, and he finds out like this plot behind the scenes of the race that his friend is in to like ruin the whole race. So he stops it by being just Mater. Like just doing unorthodox shit that Mater would do, and it'd be like, oh, that worked, cool.
That buck-toothed tow truck.
Yeah.
My God, Larry the Cable Guy. His finest work.
His absolute finest work.
With these Pixar movies, there's always that one character that stands out that deserves more of a spotlight in the first movie.
That was Mater.
And it was Mater. And I guess from what you're saying, the second one, they totally they deliver.
But here's the thing, though. Everybody thinks Cars 2 is the worst Cars movie.
No, because Cars 1 is so iconic.
It is. It's a good movie.
And I know this is like going off on a tangent. I fucking have never gone on that Cars ride at Disneyland Adventure.
California Adventure,
man. But anyways, that Mater needed that. You could see it similar, like Chris said in the Pixar movies. They did the same thing with Nemo and Dory, giving her that spotlight. But no, Cars 2, I definitely got to check out again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a good one. And hopefully the guys at the Magic Our Way podcast don't hate me for saying that. But Cars 2 is definitely the best one of the 3.
Okay. Billy Madison, Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's a very controversial topic, believe it or not. Even though I think everybody likes his movies in some degree or another, my favorite has always been Billy Madison. It's maybe the dumbest movie that he did. Maybe. Because I recently watched Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Nah, Jack and Jill is like by far the worst movie he's done.
Oh my God. Yeah, Jack and Jill was
I'm not saying bad. No. I'm not saying
just stupid.
I'm not saying stupid in a bad way. I love stupid movies. Okay. In terms of comedy, like I will absolutely pander the lowest common denominator. He gets drunk and he sees an imaginary penguin half of the movie. It's like the best bit. He's like, and he walks in and the penguin is in the house of the girl that he likes when he's stone drunk. And the penguin's holding a martini and he's imagining it because he's drunk. And he says, I see how it is. And he like turns away and he leaves. And I mean, if that doesn't encapsulate the nonsense of the movie, I don't know what does.
I wish that happened to me when I got drunk. When I get drunk, I just get shamed by my family.
And speaking of being drunk, dude, what I think is the best part of that movie is when the kid pisses his pants on the field trip and he goes onto the bus and he pours water on his pants. He said, "Peeing your pants is cool." I've never been drunk and pissed my pants. Maybe one day I'll get to that point.
And then the old lady at the field trip says, if peeing your pants is cool, then you could call me Miles Davis. And Adam Sandler's like, oh my God, lady, that's disgusting.
Oh my God. All right, then.
Okay. All right. I'll move on to my next one.
All right.
Off of Adam Sandler and his comedy and onto another comedy great, both of them in Step Brothers, John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. The movie is just all around. It encapsulates like what I feel and want in a comedy movie. Like there's a storyline.
Don't put your nutsack
behind
on
it.
my drum set.
Yeah, there's such a good storyline. You know, like nowadays, Step Brothers are known for their roles in porn. As more than
what are you doing, Step Bro?
Step Bro.
Oh, yeah, that.
But
I'm stuck under the bed.
How do you get stuck under the bed? That fake ass shit. But Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly nail it in fucking Step Brothers, where they go and you could see the hatred in them in the first dinner that they have, and he's like squirting the ketchup and everything. He's like, what? John C. Reilly is like squirting the ketchup. He's like, what? I like it. And then his dad's like, that's enough, Dale. That's enough. And you could just see them fucking going at it the whole movie. By far the best scene is the drum set scene where John C. Reilly comes home and he's like, why are you sweating on the couch? And Will Ferrell is just like watching Cops. And then, John C. Reilly has to go upstairs to fucking investigate his drum set, sees the chip on the drumstick, comes back downstairs in just the goofiest way possible. And he says, oh, it's quite funny. It seems that somebody definitely touched my drum set. He's like, well, that's crazy because I didn't touch it. He's like, I know you touched my drum set. You're a fucking liar because Cops doesn't start till 5. And they fucking go at it.
Oh.
And if that scene doesn't show how funny they are, they showed in the last scene when fucking Will Ferrell and him perform that fucking Victorian song.
With like ridiculous drum fills in it.
Boats and hoes. It's such a fucking good movie to not put in my top 5. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I like to say that like it has so many quotable and like referenceable moments, and all of it's because the dynamic duo, John Reilly and Will Ferrell, they just bounce off each other the whole movie. And like, that's why they're in so many movies together, like Talladega Nights, but Step Brothers is maybe the best one. So that's how I agree.
Definitely. I never watched the one where they were, what's the most recent one? The Sherlock Holmes one. I didn't watch that one.
Oh, see, I'm a little bit out of the loop. I didn't
Holmes
see
and
it.
Watson.
Holmes and Watson. I heard
There's a sequel now, right? There's 2 of them.
I heard that it wasn't as good as people thought. Like, fuck. It's a shitty. Yeah.
You can't have Step Brothers and then expect everything to live up to that
That's-
movie.
yeah,
Or
they
even Talladega Nights by that.
Hard
by that
truth.
standard.
Yeah.
They set the bar high on that one. No doubt. No doubt.
Definitely. All right,
What
I'll
you
move
got,
on to my next one. You should appreciate this one because I know we've talked about this. One of my next top 5s is Borat.
Okay. I can see it.
Wow.
You know what's funny, and this is going to sound terrible, but it's like a nostalgia trip for me because my dad showed me that. My dad and I watched that movie, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
My parents took me to that movie in the movie theater. They felt like just the worst parents after. Like, I don't know what they were expecting, but fucking.
They thought it was going to be like a documentary about a guy coming from the Middle East to America and just making a good life.
5 minutes in, there's fucking Sacha Baron Cohen in a one-piece fucking
washing his
bathing suit,
washing himself in the river,
hugging his fucking junk as tight as possible. That dude is hairy as shit. But keep going.
I just, that's a nostalgia trip for me. I remember you and I used to quote it all the time, like, hey dog, don't show us your huggies though. When he meets up with some dudes outside of, where was it, like Detroit?
Yes.
Is in Detroit. And like he meets up with these dudes and they like get him to sag his pants, but he has like really weird underwear on. So it's just, but it doesn't look right because he still has like his belt tight, like around his thighs.
the fact that he actually went out and did that shit, because I heard that film was all like fucking like
90% of it is organic, except for Pamela Anderson. I thought that part was true, but it was staged. But still, yeah, it came out years later. Like the dude who sold him that he wanted to buy the Hummer from was like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to be used in a movie like that," and so he tried to sue them. But like the contract,
to sue him.
Yeah, but it didn't go through because of the contract he signed.
what was the thing that he wanted in his car?
A pussy magnet.
He wanted his car to be a pussy magnet. He said, "Does this car come with pussy magnet?"
And he goes, yeah, they like this car. But how much did he have? He had like $500. So they gave him an ice cream truck.
Oh,
and then they got the funniest part for me though is like they don't know how to turn off the song, like the ice cream truck song, and they have a bear in the back. So they pull into a park, like a park with kids in it, to try to stop, and the kids run up against ice cream, and the bar just the bears just like, roar, and the kids freak out because they think it's an ice cream truck, and here's this bear just screaming at them.
that's one of like the craziest. You see a lot of people do that nowadays, like on YouTube.
Yeah,
like that's the premise of like the Nelk Boys is them going out and doing insanely dumb shit and people laughing at it. Except this man pretended to be from fucking Kazakhstan and comes to America for a documentary, and he's just all off on the wrong page. He tried to pay. He broke a whole bunch of shit in an antique store and tried to pay with it with his fucking pubic hair. Like, who the fuck does that?
He goes, "This is very nice where I come from." And then I still remember, like with Pamela Anderson, that was the greatest ending. And he's like, "Can I have you sign this for like so and so?" So he has like have her sign it for like 15 people. And then he has like this blanket that he's going to use to like kidnap her, to like wed her. And then he just throws it over. The funny thing though is I read an interview on it because it was staged, and Pamela Anderson got injured because like a dude tried to stop him.
No way.
So they actually filmed it twice.
Shit.
They filmed it twice. And at the first location, this guy tried to stop him and like tackled him and Pamela Anderson. I guess she got hurt.
That's a perfect excuse to tackle Pamela Anderson, maybe cop a feel. I don't condone it, but what an opportunity that man seized.
Yeah, he hurt her too.
I mean, you balance it out. She is a good doctor. She's very rich, so she can go to the good people out there in LA and get some shit fixed up.
All right, Chris, go ahead and enlighten us, please.
All right, another comedy. These aren't all comedies, but like, right now we're comedy heavy. Super Bad.
Classic.
Saw Super Bad when I was young. I forget what year it came out. It was like in the 2000s,
like late 2000s.
And dude, that movie was so instantly funny. The first thing that stuck out to me was the scene where he's talking about his dick drawing lunchbox. And it's just and they cut it out of it when they play it on TV, but it's just a montage of Jonah Hill. His character's name is Seth. In elementary school, just drawing dicks all through class.
But they're like very finely detailed,
Like so veiny and just hairy, just perfect.
And he's drawing them to look like monkeys and airplanes and bananas. And it's like a montage. It's like, I don't know. It's like a distorted art. Okay.
and just play the song, the Smash Mouth song at the end of Shrek. Bam, 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 bam. It just goes from like an end credit scene. Don't they show it in the end credits too?
Yeah, they show more of the art. There was more. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I remember them. It was like when I was, because like you said, it was when we were super young. So like, I remember first time like watching on FX or some shit. Back when you used to watch cable TV and had to sit through commercials. But you see it on FX and he goes into that 7-Eleven and starts looking at nudie mags. Ever since that day, I every time I go to a place, I'm like, do they really have Playboys out here for just kids to look at?
They probably did at one point, not anymore now.
Because of the movie.
So and the funniest wording in the dick scene was he was like, I have this ghost box lunchbox where I keep all the drawings. It's like a treasure trove of dicks. And he explains my parents called in a priest, and the principal was a Christian, so they called in a priest because they thought I was possessed by some sort of dick demon when they caught me. And the movie has so many good actors in it. It has
you get Seth Rogen,
Seth Rogen, and then
Jonah Hill.
So Seth Rogen was cop, Jonah Hill, Seth, Michael Cera's the friend. Then the cops are who's that guy? He was just in It Chapter 2.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah. The other dude, Seth Rogen, and then the other dude.
Chris Hader, or is it Bill Hader? I forget his name. Bill Hader,
who's also BB-8.
Dude, the cops are hilarious. Every character in the movie is hilarious. There's so many stupid quotes. Fogel's McLovin. That's one of the most classic, like, referenceable jokes.
McLovin.
And out of all the teen, like, there's all like the raunchy, like, teen comedies, like American Pie and stuff that are kind of in that genre. I think Superbad is the best one, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. So I love that movie.
Well, no, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe like Seth Rogen and them, like their movies, because I have another one of his movies on my list. Like, they're such good comedy writers that no matter what they produce, like, it's just a fucking automatic hit. And you don't get that from a lot of like people writing these days.
Yeah, I feel like Adam Sandler is the only other one that, like, he can write something and it could be terrible, but you're like, I'll still watch it. It's still probably funny.
Fucking Jack and Jill. And we fucking
that's like the only one where I'm like,
and we watched it, right?
We did watch it.
It's so crazy how Adam Sandler is just like an intrinsic part of our culture. Like, you just remember a vague blur of Adam Sandler in different movies.
It's like you have the most influential
kind of
people.
smashes together if you don't remember.
Yeah, it's like you got Kobe, then you got like President Obama, and then above all that, you got Adam Sandler.
If you produce, and no matter what you do, if you produce A1 content all the time, like, people are going to remember you forever. Like,
especially if you do it for decades like he has. He's on almost 30 years now, almost 40 years.
And he still he dresses like it's fucking 2007 with the baggy shorts and dad shirts.
Hey, whoa. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is that, God damn it, Adam, you live in Hollywood. Let's spruce up the attire a little.
but I do like the depressed picture of him at the In-N-Out Burger with his family.
I haven't
seen this. What?
Oh my gosh. So it looks like some guy at In-N-Out saw Adam Sandler like eating with his family and decided, I'm going to point a camera at him and take a picture. And he just has this look on, like, this has happened a million times before. He can't escape. Like, that's all I know. The most defeated, broken look on his fucking face. And it like, you know, like you said, yeah, dude, his usual attire, like a normal guy. He's got like basketball shorts on and a big t-shirt. And like I feel bad for him, but it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, like, how you go to In-N-Out, you don't expect to get a fucking picture taken. But like, I'm sure we'll get into it eventually, like with how shitty it has to be an actor sometimes and having to constantly be on for everybody. Like, I'm sure at that moment he was probably wanting to tell that dude, go screw yourself.
Yeah, that's
like,
why I felt bad for him. Like, it's funny, but I feel bad in reality.
So I'll hop on to the next one on my list. We're going to go Django Unchained.
Yo.
We're going to go Leonardo DiCaprio in one of his finest roles, playing a fucking slave master from the South. And then you got Jamie Foxx playing a slave. And then I don't remember what the German dude's name is that plays the guy, the bounty hunter originally.
Yeah, the old guy who owns the cart, right?
Yes.
That helps him out.
Then you got Samuel L. Jackson, old Snowball. But I think it literally encapsulates just how crazy slavery is in just the coolest way possible. I get that same feeling when I watched Hunters and they're like Nazi hunting. It's the same principle. The slave is out hunting other slave masters that have done wrong. Jamie Foxx becomes this fucking stone cold killer, but it is action packed. It's got a great storyline with, you know, incredible actors.
Tarantino always knows how to pick his actors for these movies.
You know what's funny though is
Django is no exception.
He had to he felt like Leonardo felt so bad that he had to say the N-word. Got to the point where Samuel Jackson's like, motherfucker, this is a Tuesday. This is work for us. Just say it.
Yeah, so we could say Samuel Jackson gave Leonardo DiCaprio the N-word pass for the scene.
Oh my God.
And
so
then,
it's cool.
And then Leonardo still felt bad, so he took them all out to like dinner. Like, he's like, I'm sorry.
It's got to be tough though. It's got to be tough. I mean, me being a person, I obviously know that everything that went on was horrific, but it's important for people to see it in movies in a lighthearted fashion to truly understand how shitty it all was.
And Tarantino always has that like nice historical angle. It's like a lot of this is based in true stuff and a little bit of its embellishments, because it's like he says in the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Wild West movies, the point of them was, the Wild West wasn't really all like that, all flashy and gunslingy, but it wasn't far from, and it could have been. It's a retelling of a story like we would have liked it to happen. Django, we would have liked to see some badass motherfucker kill all the slave owners.
Yep.
And the historical angle I'm always really impressed by in his movies.
100%. I think the last quotable scene from that I remember the most, it involves Jonah Hill too, is when they're all on the horses and the man whose wife made all the KKK masks for them cut out the eye holes all wrong. It's like, I can't see shit out this goddamn mask. And they're like, that's the point of a brigade. I can't see. As long as the horse can see, we're fine. And then, they're giving this guy shit for making horrible masks. And the guy's just at the end is like, you unappreciative sons of bitches. You don't ask me or mines for nothing. And then just rides off into the fucking night.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And then Jonah Hill was like, I think the bags were a good idea. But not to point any fingers here. They could have been done a lot better.
I think it's funny because it's like a dramatic action movie. Then you have this really meta, hilarious scene
with the KKK over bags that go over the goddamn head. Oh. Great movie.
All right,
awesome. What you got?
I'll head to my next one. So, veering away from comedy again, I'm going to go 28 Days Later.
Oh, okay.
I saw that movie as a kid, and I was scared shitless. So I watched it again, because that's what any respectable child would do.
That's what you do. You got to build up your immunity.
It ended up being one of my favorite movies. So for anybody who isn't aware, it's a horror zombie film about, it's not even like really zombies in a way. It's about a virus called the Rage virus. It basically just wipes out England. And it's just the story of this guy who wakes up in a hospital. I want to say it's like a few weeks after it happens. And he's just like, wow, I can walk down
Shit's
London.
fucked.
Shit's fucked, dog.
And it's super action packed. It's super dramatic. It's super scary. And it's just, honestly, I think it's the best zombie movie ever made, in my opinion.
Here's what I liked about that movie. The zombies were threatening. Okay?
Oh yeah, they were like all Usain Bolt.
They ran, they jumped. You couldn't let them. They could spit. They would projectile spit, right?
Well, yeah, it'd be spit or blood, and if it got into
into your eyes,
well, that's what happened to one guy. He's looking up, and a crow who had the virus was dead, and it was dripping blood, and one drop went in his eye, and he turned.
That's nuts.
It's extremely.
How do you kill something like that?
Well,
how did they in the movie? Like
same way you would a normal zombie, shoot them,
decapitate.
Yeah,
decapitate.
I mean, it was because they weren't really zombies. It was like rabies. So like
people hopped
one
up.
of the scenes is so the main guy meets up with these other people, and they stay at this house. And the other dude who's in the group, so it's a girl and a guy. And the guy, not the main guy, so there's three people. There's two guys and a girl. So the other guy makes a mistake and he has like candles and lights on in the living room, and they know. And so literally it shows like a POV camera angle of just like fast sprinting, and then you see him and they crash through like a window and grab him.
Oh my god.
And like the girl comes out and just like with a machete just starts like just hacking him. And then she looks at the guy and he has a bite and he's like, no wait, and she just no mercy.
You can't
rip that Band-Aid off.
My God.
It's crazy. And then they had 28 Weeks Later, which was it was shot better because it had a bigger production value and everything. It's still really good, but it's still just as scary. But 28 Days Later for me, it's just like, if you want like a really scary zombie movie, like watch that one. None of this The Walking Dead where they walked at like 3 feet a day.
Oh yeah, no, you got it. That's what I feel every zombie movie needs, man. You need that crazy zombie. You need that end of the round Call of Duty-esque zombie that's going to chase you around. Yeah, but that's how they
are from the beginning in this movie.
I know, and that's what every zombie movie needs. And what I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and all I'm remembering right now is just Zombieland 2. And the way those zombies were, and like Was there a variety of zombies in that movie?
No. They were
all the same.
Yeah, they were just all sprinting. Granted, like if they had like a physical ailment or something, like they couldn't run as fast. But like it's just like Dawn of the Dead. Have you seen Dawn of the Dead?
The zombie is emphysema.
The zombie was fucking paralyzed. It's got it. I'm about my legs work again.
You see one on a wheelchair, like rapidly moving his wheels with his arms still, going towards you.
Have you or any other infected been infected with mesothelioma? He just said, "Hold on, guys, I gotta stop."
Just because you're infected does not mean you're not entitled to compensation.
Call the law offices of We Take Care of Zombies.
Yeah, it's funny because people argue on that movie all the time. Like it's not a zombie film because they're technically not. It's literally just a rage virus.
Here's the thing about that argument: zombie movies are like their own subgenre within horror. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you want certain things from a horror movie, but a zombie movie, it's like you got to hit certain notes about like how the apocalypse is and how the zombies are and how the survivors are and how the world is politically and all this stuff. And by all means, 28 Days Later is a zombie movie. It's like you could say, oh, they're not zombies, they're infected, so it's not a zombie movie. But it's like, but it's still a zombie movie.
So the crazy thing, though, is what just happened with the coronavirus in India is basically how this movie started. With the monkey that ran away with the virus. Mm-hmm. In India, like a few weeks ago. So the beginning of 28 Days Later is they have these monkeys that have the virus, these like chimps, and they're very aggressive because it's called the rage virus. And these like PETA activists break in and like, you gotta let them go. And they let them go and they literally just slaughter everybody in that room. And then they get out and that's how the virus spreads. So we got that to look forward to.
When PETA backfires.
I like
the animals. Holy shit, fucking put it back in the cage.
I always like in the infection apocalypse movies, I like when like there's a good premise for the zombies that's all like science based. For example, the opening scene with the monkeys in 20 Days Later, I'm like, oh, so they're kind of like framing it in a realistic way. And that's always cool to me.
Mm-hmm. We'll go ahead with your next one, Chris.
All right. So this one's a horror movie. It's The Shining. The Shining. That's Stanley Kubrick. It's not true to the book, but that doesn't matter. It's because it's badass. It's better than the one that Stephen King did. Actually, I think Stephen King tried twice, if I'm not mistaken, to make his own, didn't he? There was like an older one and a newer one. Anyways, that's not my point. Point is Stanley Kubrick. The coolest thing about this movie is the cinematography, and by that I mean like there's these shots where like the Jack Nicholson is working on his book in this like giant hall. They're all alone in this like giant like fancy hotel basically, and he's like working on his typewriter and you hear click click click. You know, nobody's there. It's all ambient, and then his wife tries to like confront him, like say hello, and he just like goes nuts on her and like starts slowly walking towards her. And like the camera pans from his side of the room back from over the shoulder of his wife as she runs away from him. So like it's one of the best ways of like perspective horror being used in movies. And you have the score. The musical score is so important. It has this crazy like all these strings and crazy synths, and it just ramps up like I can't recreate it with my mouth.
Yeah, no, but I get it.
And as like it goes further and like Jack Nicholson gets more demented, it like ramps up. Or like the classic scene with the blood coming down the hallway, or the two little girls, oh, we would like to play. Or the kid riding around his bicycle in the movie, his little tricycle, and the camera's like the way they turn the corners is really like fluid and crazy. It's to create a perspective horror, and I respect the shit out of The Shining. And the leper lady in the bathtub who's like falling apart is fucking weird and always creeps me out.
Oh yeah, no. It's so important to have that perspective in horror films, man. And I think you hit it right on the nose when you get that opportunity to put yourself in those situations and seeing those certain shots. Like it's crazy how much cinematography can do for a horror film. I saw a lot of it in one like a horror film recently with like Hereditary, just a lot of good shots that really put you in that person's perspective. But I think you hit it really well, especially with the music too. I'm not a music guy, but we are. Yeah, I know. I'm band people over here.
I played clarinet in middle school, bro.
No, I get it though.
Well, go ahead, George. Give us your
next one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next one. All right, here we go.
We should all have 2 more each.
Pretty controversial as of recently, because millennials are just finding out that Robert Downey Jr. pulled off the best blackface in the history of blackface. And that movie is Tropic Thunder. You got a great cast, Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black, and I don't remember the other 2 names of the people that were with him in that troupe. But man, you get them showing what like making a movie is like, and the director wanted them to actually feel how war life was like, what they were actually going through in Vietnam. So he like drops them out in the middle of nowhere and makes them survive on their own. And what's the first thing this film director does but step on a landmine and get his head blown to fucking smithereens? And Ben Stiller thought it was all a game. He was like, this is just cinematography, FX. He picks up his head, starts like scooping out the brains and everything.
It's like, this is fake.
And then, you know, the people who actually live there are like trying to hunt them down. They're like, who the hell is on our land? And they start shooting at him. So Ben Stiller's like shooting out into the end of the forest, not knowing that people are actually chasing them. It is just hilarious. Ben Stiller starts off the movie strong, and then at the end, you really see Robert Downey Jr. like fully go into this blackface character and try to act black. And I feel they hit it right on the nose when it's like, it's almost like you can't do it anymore because of just everybody is going to give you shit for it. And even in the movie, one of the actors that is with him, I can't remember what that black guy's name is. I don't remember his name either. But he gives Robert Downey Jr. shit, calling him, you know, like, why you doing blackface when you Crocodile Dundee? You know what I mean? Like,
what you mean, you people? What you mean, you people?
What you mean, you people? You know what I mean? Like,
what people don't get is that the point of the joke is if it wasn't known to everybody rhetorically as being offensive, there would be no joke.
Yes.
So like people who haven't seen the movie, of course they're like upset, but like they have to understand that's just part of the joke.
100%. 100%. I think one of my favorite scenes from that definitely is the full retard scene where Robert Downey Jr. explains to Ben Stiller how you can never go full retard in a film. And to explain, like Forrest Gump obviously wasn't all there, but he was a war hero. So that's an exception. You know what I mean? Rain Man had autism, but goddamn can count the hell out of cards. He's good at math. He's not full retard.
Okay, so you got to have something. That's like the rule.
You got to have a niche. And I'm a special ed teacher, okay? So before people go on saying, this man is just so offensive. He is just, wow, I can't believe I'm listening to this. Listen, all right? I teach kids with disabilities. When I saw that scene, I cracked up because it's so true, man. Like, you never see it truly play out in a movie. And Ben Stiller's character in the movie, he played a guy named Simple Jack, who's just so far gone. Like, Ben Stiller was like, when I was making the movie Simple Jack, I was doing everything retarded. I was brushing my teeth retarded. I was eating retarded. And then, you know, Robert Downey Jr. in blackface, all the irony, right, is telling him, you can never go full retard. And that's what makes the movie great, is because they're willing to go to the places that people would never fucking dare go these days. That's why I like Tropic Thunder.
I respect that about the movie, so I'm on board with that.
No, and it might not be top 5 for everybody, but you got to understand the comedic genius behind that.
It sets the premise for a lot of comedy that wants to be like it.
Mm-hmm. Austin, let's hear it.
All right, so I'll go on to my next one. And that's another favorite for George and me. That's The Longest Yard, the new one.
Yes.
With our boy Joey Diaz.
Yes. No, The Longest Yard, Paul Crew. I mean, it's way better than the first one. When I watched the first one, I was like, God damn, they improved the shit out of this.
Yeah, I remember watching the first one and I was like, I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah, I smoke weed all the time. And if I fall asleep during a movie, like, you just not catching my attention. You know, like I'm already in a chill state.
Gotta have a good hook or like, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. But this one is great. Like, yeah, Terry Crews in it. Cheeseburger Eddie.
Cheeseburger Eddie. Who the hell played that? That was
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, Cheeseburger Eddie. And then you had Marvin Harrison, who was an actual football player, like playing the film as a running back. Nelly.
No, Nelly was the
running back. That Marvin Harrison was a receiver.
Yeah. And then you had like the WWE like alumni class in there. You got like the Great
Steve
Khali.
Austin.
You got Steve Austin. You got Diesel. You got who's the other? Goldberg. Yeah, Goldberg
the white
in
guy
there.
he was a guard.
No. Steve Austin was the guard. Goldberg was the dude with the giant hammer.
Yeah,
Like, you
they
just
call
hit
him
him-
the Hammer.
Yeah, they're like, he's gonna hit him over the head with that hammer. He's like, I don't want to kill him. I just want to hurt
I
him.
messed that up. Oh my gosh, it was Goldberg.
And then you got the timeless classic, best actor ever, Joey Diaz.
Oh my god, Diet Coke,
Diet Coke, can corn.
can of corn, and I'll be fine.
He was like, he was like, all right, who here has played football before? All right, where? Kent State, or it was like
Yeah,
Kansas
he said
City.
Kansas State.
Kansas State goes, oh shit, no way, with Coach so and so. He goes, nah, Kansas State Penitentiary.
Or they have the softest mattresses out there.
And they were like,
Yeah, they
the first
do.
day of practice,
Yeah,
they had
they
him.
do.
They had him running like laps, and he's on the ground, just flat out on the ground. He's like, "You fuckers better not cut me."
My favorite scene from that movie is when Burt Reynolds fucking grabs Joey Diaz by the face mask and yanks him down to the ground. He's showing like defensive moves to get by. And I remember listening to a podcast with Joey Diaz where he was like, when Burt Reynolds did this, he told me like in the morning, he's like, I'm to do it. We're going to do it in 1 or 2 shots. You know, like I don't want to have to do it too hard. So like, you know, Joey Diaz is thinking he's not going to get yanked down too hard. He was like, Burt Reynolds pulled his fucking head down so goddamn hard he had like whiplash for the next week.
Oh my god! I also love. I forgot his name. It's like a Russian last name, but the big dude's like, "I'm sorry, Mister, I broke it. Your toy."
Swatowski.
Swatowski. That was
Swatowski.
great. It's like, no, that's a good thing. That deserves a hug with Caretaker.
Oh my god, yeah, and we hadn't even brought up Caretaker.
Yeah.
And it's Chris Rock.
Yeah,
Chris Rock is Caretaker. Man, when he died in that movie,
I was sad, dude. It was very sad.
that white dude.
Oh, who was actually in the original one too,
Yes.
with Burt Reynolds.
I did not know he was in the original.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he didn't age
It's
well.
a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's another Adam Sandler classic.
What I like about that type of comedy is that all the side characters, like even if like they only have a couple lines, they're like a whole ass character. Like you remember something funny and distinct about them. Like all these people that you guys are naming. And comedy doesn't always do that nowadays, and it should.
Yeah, it's like yeah, Adam Sandler has some funny things, like with the one dude who's like, why can't I be quarterback? He's like, all right, go ahead. And he hucks it like to the right, like directly to the right of him. And he's like, that's why, now sit down and shut up. He's just like tired of people's shit because he's in jail. And he's just like, I don't want to deal with you. We're going to play football because like, they're making me.
And he was in jail for just the fucking obviously he had the whole drunk driving incident at the
Yeah.
beginning.
And then he got in trouble for shaving points off of his own game because he's an NFL quarterback. So people hated him already. They're like, you're going to just screw us over in this game too?
Oh yeah, man. And then the warden, that fucking, whenever I see that old white guy, he's in like American Horror Story, like one of the seasons. All I could think of him as is just like this old German scientist guy. But he plays the warden really well.
Wasn't he in Babe?
Oh, I don't remember.
Anyways, though, great movie. Great movie. Chris, go ahead and give us your next one.
All right, this is a more dramatic film, American Psycho.
Ah.
When I first saw the movie, the first thing you get from it is like, Christian. What's the actor's name?
Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. I'm like
Batman.
Batman.
Batman,
Oh, that's his
Batman.
name.
The best Batman, might I add.
Yes.
Whoa, we're not opening that can of conversation.
That's another episode.
I'm actually not that opinionated about that type of stuff, but it's definitely conversation. American Psycho, the first thing you get from the movie is like how eccentric and charismatic Patrick Bateman is. Right? You're like, this guy's weird. Like and he talks with like this confidence, and he's like a Wall Street type of guy, and he just kills people. And then, you know, I think about when he's at the club and this girl asks him, what do you do? Executions or something like that. And then the lady said, she pretends like she can't hear because of the music. And she says, oh, you do consultations? Like mistaking his word. They say it better in the movie, but I'm just paraphrasing. He's like this psycho guy. And when he kills people, before he does it, he likes to talk about music. right? There's this guy, Paul, who he only hates him because he has a better business card than him.
I remember that.
They're all showing off their business cards.
This
in
motherfucker's
the
got a better one.
movie. And he has this internal dialogue. My God, an off-white with a monochrome text. It's way better than mine. So he hangs out with this guy, Paul, and brings him back to his house. And he's like, oh, I'll be in the other room. And Paul's having a drink on his couch. And Patrick Bateman walks out with a raincoat and an axe and puts on the stereo. And he starts talking about Huey Lewis and the News. Do you like Huey Lewis and the News? And he does like an in-depth like critique, like they really came into their own when they made The Power of Love or whatever the album. Like he's like super like intellectual about music. And then he just says, hey, Paul. And Paul turns around. He just whoosh, axe to the head, totally murders this guy. But the whole movie, the coolest part about the movie to me was about like, it was like a psychological movie. Like you end up feeling bad for the killer because like he's stuck being a person who has like urges. And there's a part of the movie that people think is actually like a fantasy sequence, like it didn't really happen, but he imagined it. He imagined himself giving into his urge and like he has like a shootout with the police. And he calls his lawyer and turns himself in. He's like, oh, I have these urges, right? And the only thing I have left to do, like the only control I have in my life is to turn myself in. And then his lawyer laughs. He's like, oh, that's a great joke, man. Dude, it's tragic. It's like beautiful and tragic. And he's just like such a quotable character. Great movie.
I gotta check out American Psycho again.
I've seen it once, but it was years ago. I gotta watch it again.
Oh, but no, Christian Bale, and we'll definitely get into the best Batman podcast. But I'm assuming the American Psycho is one of those ones where it's got you on the edge of your seat from like the get go, or does it take a second to get going?
It irks you. Like it's not like it seems normal. It seems like business as usual. Like he's at the office and doing his job and talking to girls. And then like he says something like irksome, like really weird, or off the wall. And you're like, oh, that's weird. And then, a couple of minutes later, he murders somebody. He's like chasing somebody with a chainsaw. So it definitely does in its own way.
Okay. No, I'm excited to check it out now because it's crazy. We all came up with these lists. We never said what on our list was, and I hope I don't overlap on this last one, but we haven't so far.
I don't think so with mine. I don't think we will.
Because this one's special to me, and it reminded me about what Chris just said with it takes, like in comedy movies, you got to be able to remember all those supporting characters. And in this movie, when I saw it yesterday, as I was making this list, this is the end with you got Seth Rogen. You got
that
James
was the one
Franco,
that was about
Craig
aliens?
Robinson. It was like
it was the end of the world.
Yeah, the end of the world.
They're like being raptured, like almost.
Yeah.
So this is what I haven't seen.
All the people they hadn't committed sin and were going to heaven got sucked up into heaven immediately, and then the world just caught fire. And of course, all these actors and all their flaws aren't the ones to get brought up by heaven. So they're having this party at Dave. Is it Dave? Yeah, Dave Franco. Dave Franco or James Franco? God,
James. I want to say James Franco.
Oh my gosh.
I also haven't seen the movie.
It's because
so I know of it. I know like most of it, but I haven't seen it.
I get that confusion too because in the interview he calls himself Dave or James. He's James Franco. That's his real name.
Franco.
He's James Franco.
James Franco and Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen comes into town. He meets up with his buddy. I'm not remembering that actor's name, but they ended up going to James Franco's new house. And then that's when this whole shit blows up. And it's all these actors at a party just on their own character. You had Danny McBride, like I said, Seth Rogen, Craig Robinson from The Office.
Is it them acting as themselves?
It's them acting as themselves and how they would, act if this was all happening. So first night happens. So many people die. Kevin Hart, Aziz Ansari, Rihanna gets thrown into this pit. Michael Cera, in an amazing scene, is getting his cock sucked and his ass eaten while drinking a Capri Sun in the bathroom. You got it, guys. When I say you got to watch this film, you got to watch it. Then Michael Cera goes outside and he's like, guys, who took my fucking cell phone, man? And this fucking light pole just impales right through his chest. And then he ends up realizing the phone was in his pocket the whole time. It's like, oh, damn, that's really embarrassing, man.
As he's dying, he's just more worried about how embarrassing it was, not that he's dying.
That, bro. And then, so what I thought was funny was just like the buildup. The end kind of gets crazy with Jonah Hill turning into the devil and everything just fucking completely hitting the wall. But at the beginning of the movie, they had all these supplies like put together and stuff. They like took inventory of all the food they have so they can like survive. And Danny McBride was like sleeping in the bathroom upstairs. So he comes downstairs when they're all sleeping. And they already planned this, and he sees all this food. And it's a Hollywood party. He's probably hungover, hungry as shit. He cooks like the biggest breakfast for all his bros. He uses damn near all the fucking food that they had in the house. And then, everyone comes in the morning. It's like, Danny, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, what? You cocksuckers don't like when I make you breakfast? And, it all works together so well because you get to see them as themselves. And I feel you never get that in a lot of comedy movies. It's one that you got to check out because there's just so many good names in it. This is the end. One of Seth Rogen's finest pieces, in my opinion.
Once again, there are those type of great actors that can bounce off of each other. Yeah. And like with comedies, like I'll admit what you're essentially doing a lot of the time is you just want to see the actor. Like the character is usually just the actor. But when you get them all together in these situations, they're just bouncing off each other with these jokes left and right. It's like a comedy gumbo.
That reminds me of the first Grown Ups. You guys have seen the first Grown Ups.
Yes, I have.
So when they're making fun of Rob Schneider's character for Maze, like they're like Maze, and then what's his name? The dude who plays Joe Dirt.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name.
So he goes, that's amazing. And then like Adam Sandler laughs, but like that's not like a fake laugh. Like he just improv that on the spot. And Adam Sandler's like, wait a minute, that's pretty funny.
Kobe Bunyan over here. Toby Bryant.
Toby Bryant.
Oh my God.
People give the grown-up movies a fair amount of shit. And I kind of did, but I liked Grown Ups 1. It's a thing where like it teeters on family comedy, but I'll be damned. Grown Ups 1 was pretty funny.
Damn straight. Every kid came out of there wanting to get chocolate wasted. That's a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll go ahead and give my last one. So it's not a comedy. It's actually Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh, hell,
so going with the second one, I personally think the third one, boring. That's when it's time to take a nap. If they got the marathon on, I'll watch the first two and be like, Last Crusade's coming on, time for a nap.
I could only watch so many movies in a row. Like two is like my max, I think.
Oh yeah.
But Temple of Doom, this reason alone is what makes it the best Indiana Jones. It's the one that they based the ride off of at Disneyland. That's what the ride is based off of, is that one. And it's just, I don't know, it's super dark. It's a lot of action. It's a really cool like setting. It's in India, but like this really corrupted dark temple where they like sacrifice children and make, not even children, they just sacrifice people.
Totally
iconic.
And
then they have children labor in their minds.
That's the one with the dude. He's like fighting the dude with a sword and he shoots him.
That's Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's the first one. That's a good scene though. The Indiana Jones has a lot of good gags and scenes in it, but the second one is like, Kalima, Indy, cover your heart.
Hey, remember?
Oh my God.
Austin and I went to Disneyland when we were in like middle school. Grade. Yeah. And we went
on Star Tours, which is the Star Wars ride. And throughout the whole thing, Christian's going, Kalima, Indy, cover your heart. And then in the Indy ride, he goes, use the Force, Luke. I was like, using the wrong George Lucas films in the wrong spots, dude.
I hope somebody got mad. I was like, shut up.
But it's my favorite because it's the darkest of the four. But it's so, that movie actually is the reason why we have a PG-13 rating now.
Really?
Yeah, because it was going to be rated R. And Steven Spielberg was like, dog, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Oh, so they say PG-13 is like a middle ground.
There's a lot of things. We don't know who those people are. They live in secrecy, but they...
oh my God.
Yeah, they send a film in for a review and then there's videos you can watch on it that go into detail about it. But
if you... damn, it kind of blows my mind. Yeah, I'm just going to jump in. Like in schools, people give you so much shit for like the rating of film you watch. I'm sorry, but there comes a point in time where you should be able to watch anything and be okay.
Yeah.
Like, at what age did you guys start watching rated R films?
I was like in elementary school when my mom put on like Nightmare on Elm Street.
So
and I'm like, this movie's a badass.
So I'm a little. I mean, I didn't. I'm like, oh, I waited till I was 16. No, my dad, like, I was like 5, and my dad was like, this is South Park. Just don't say what they say. And that was it. Like, I just watched whatever.
And that's as simple as it is. It's always just befuddled me, this goddamn limit that they put on people. And it's like you're silencing the chance to learn something new. Like all those rated R films, like, you know, there's a reason they're rated R. You're going to learn something that's kind of out there and crazy. And it's
like
important.
How to murder people with an axe and talk about music.
And maybe say a couple of cuss words and touch a boob. And those are things you need to know.
Those are life lessons.
Those are life lessons.
Those are up
need.
there with like learning how to do taxes.
Some could say more important. Some could say more important.
You're definitely right, because like I think of like the shelter type who like when they're a kid, like, oh, you could use the internet for 30 minutes and you could watch you could watch TV for an hour and you could play a video game until it's your bedtime.
That's like my kid. Like we have a tablet for him so we can watch movies when we go on road trips. And it's literally like the children's version of the Fire tablet. So it has like Disney Plus, Netflix Kids, YouTube Kids. It's like you can't have it. Granted, he's 2. He doesn't need to be watching all that, but still.
Yeah. But I know just based off the way you were brought up, when that time comes with your kid, you're not going to be like,
no, he's not going to be sheltered.
No, we're not going to watch that.
Well, he's going to walk
Tommy.
in at 3 years old. I'm going to be watching Longest Yard and hearing Joey Diaz telling people not to cut him.
Assholes better not cut me.
As he's on the ground dead. Yeah. So Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Great film. Obviously, watch all 4 of them.
That's the favorite Indiana Jones that I've seen. We used to have it on VHS.
I have the entire box.
That one.
I have the entire box collection. It has the first 3 movies and then like a behind the scenes DVD. Do you guys know the app Quiz Up? It was a game.
So is that the one everybody played? You spun the wheel?
No. That was a different one. This one was popular around the same time, and it was literally trivia. For the longest time, I was number 1 in the United States in Indiana Jones trivia because I watched so much of that documentary about them making it. Dudes would like roll up and like I could tell I'd be like, oh, this dude doesn't know anything based on like the first question. It'd be like, where did Indiana Jones like teach you? I'm like, oh, dog, you don't know? All right, I'm winning.
Oh, no doubt. Do you put that in a resume? Like should held number 1 position in Indiana Jones trivia.
And Quiz Up app that is
somebody may respect you.
No, like what if you got a job because of that? Like the person, like, I'm a fucking huge Indiana Jones fan, dog. You're my man.
I told Vanessa that, and she was like, okay, and she's like, why do I care? And I was like, all right, that's fair. Why should you care?
All right, it's a niche. It's a niche amount of people.
All right, Chris, go ahead and send us home on these lists.
Bro. One of the best movies I ever seen when I existed was Scarface.
Yo, classic.
Oh my God. Yes.
Lots of people like Scarface, and it's because it's great. Well, one, Tony Montana is an amazing character. He's just like this no nonsense Cuban guy who's like a badass. But here's the thing: you see, he's not when he's always depicted, he's this badass gangster. You know, he has like the M16 with the grenade launcher. He's like, say hello to my little friend. He's snorting rails. Okay. Here's the thing: you see that character built up. You see him when he first gets to the States. You see him when he's like in that like prison yard and shit in the beginning of the movie. You see him earn everything he earns and build his like empire. So it's so much more meaningful than just saying, oh, here's a gangster character right off the bat. And that makes it all the more tragic when you see basically his downfall. And he says so much iconic shit in that movie when he's like, oh, make way for the bad guy, or say hello to my little friend, and everything he says. It's such a tragic movie, and it's a great movie, and it's about badass gangsters, and it's like all 80s and shit, and there's all this synth music. It's great. I love it.
That movie sticks with me a lot because I grew up and my dad came from Cuba, so naturally that was his favorite movie. But it's
it's me, son.
It's the fucking truth, guys. Like dead ass. Look up Florida in the goddamn 1980s, and it is ran by cocaine kingpins. And it's all about not giving a shit what people think about you. Like Tony did not care about anything except for getting his dollar. He didn't care if he had to damn near get chainsawed in half. You know what I mean? And then when it came time to start killing people, he had the balls to do that shit too. You know, and it, like you said, you can't just have a character like that and just have him be a gangster right off the jump, because it's just not the way it worked like that back then. It's so tough. It's like the perfect immigrant story, because you feel
exactly the immigrant angle of the movie is so like, because it makes it like, oh, this is a real dude. This is a real dude. He's off the boat. You know, he has to live the dream. What's his version of the dream? And he creates it for himself, essentially, which is badass.
Take that home with you, kids. Do it for yourself.
not cocaine.
No, make your
Snort
own
a
dream.
rail. All kids, we mandate all kids who listen to this podcast to snort a rail. If you don't know what that means, ask your parents.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary.
All right. Well, I'll hop us into the last segment for today's episode. I want to start a thing where we duel characters from two random movies. And we would see
a fight.
Yes, a fight. We would see
A
who would win.
squabble.
So here,
Altercation,
Here's-
maybe?
A Donnybrook.
here's the contestants for this week's episode. Olaf from Frozen. The Predator from the Predator movies. My money's on Olaf, dog.
Okay, what environment are we in? Are we in like an icy environment? Or are we in like a jungle environment? Like, where are we? Because Olaf gets a power boost essentially when he's in ice.
Yeah.
Like
But-
camouflage too.
But remember in the first movie, though, Elsa gives him that like rain cloud that follows him, or the snow cloud that follows him.
Oh yeah, she made him immortal. Can Olaf die?
I don't think he can.
I mean, if you light him on fire, that cloud isn't going to do much for him.
I don't know, because Elsa's powers are pretty strong.
Yeah,
I think
but Elsa's
snow,
not involved. That's the last. That's the last.
You're right. You're
That's the
right.
last
You're
thing
right.
she has for him is
Okay.
that.
What is the snow cloud? No. I think the environment definitely plays a huge part.
We'll say New York City from Predator 2.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
We'll say they just roll up on New York
It's
The
City.
Vegas odds.
temperamental, weather. Like it's not too hot. Maybe he won't melt right off the fight.
It'll be nighttime, so yeah.
All right.
No, I think it is 100% the Predators' fight to lose. And I'll just come out and say it. If I had to put $1,000 down on this fight, it would be for the Predator. But Olaf, man, can throw them sticks, dog. He can throw them sticks with
It's a
anybody.
weapon.
No, dude, he can throw
Sharp.
hands. He could just swing
Sharp.
on Predator.
Can you imagine just the stick to the eye? God damn.
But also remember, he can like he has like separate pieces for his head and his body. So like Predator could come in with like a swing and he could just pop his head up and over.
He's almost so laughable that, he like the Predator would not be as aggressive. You know what I mean?
He'd be like, what is this?
It's like a fighter, like fighting like a little kid. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to
But then
fucking.
the little kid punches like Mike Tyson.
No, serious. And that's Olaf.
There's a very important. You're right. And there's a very important angle. What was Arnold Schwarzenegger's biggest problem fighting the Predator initially is because he had thermal vision. He had to cover himself in mud. Olaf is fucking ice. He won't even be able to detect that
That's
motherfucker.
such a good point.
Olaf's gonna have a headband like Rambo or Solid Snake and just come up behind him with like a sharpened twig arm and just
Yeah, but he's gonna come and be like, I like warm hugs.
warm hugs in hell.
So
In the perfect action movie type sense. That's the exact one-liner he'd pull.
So if we're gonna put this like UFC fight 3 rounds, how many rounds do you think this is going?
What kind of ground game does Olaf have?
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu?
I don't know what they teach in Arendelle.
Wait, do aliens have UFC though? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe the Predator doesn't know what that is.
Maybe
Well, they have, like, a
maybe
ritual
it's
program.
CFU. It's just backward. He
CFU.
lives in the alternate,
CFU. Champion fighting you.
Yeah, champion fighting you.
Shit, he's really just from Russia. Can you imagine that Predator just rolls up in a tracksuit? Hello.
UF
my-
backwards R.
Oh my
Olaf
god.
takes it.
Olaf takes it.
That's it.
I think, this is the game was rigged from the start. Olaf is like the snow Chad.
Then then you brought up the thermal vision, and I mean, it's just like what the
It's
Predator would be
over.
fucking lost, dog. All
He
the
just-
tight streets in New York, Olaf, and his ability to fucking
I just
go
imagine
anywhere.
like the predator walks down like an alleyway, and you just hear like, and he looks behind him, and there's nobody there.
The shadow kind of like moves across the background. It's like, what was that?
But Olaf does like a Home Alone, and he runs like in front of him really fast, so he can't see. So he walks forward, but it's a puddle because he's somewhat melting. And he just slips and eats shit in the alleyway.
Oh my god! And then
he sings about it. He sings like a song about it.
I think Olaf, and like you said, in the Home Alone fashion, might use New York City as his tool to kill the predator.
Oh shit, you're right.
Like he can, when you said like he could slip on a puddle, like I envision Olaf now as this fucking mastermind that's like, setting up traps around corners for the predator, slip on marbles, fall down staircase type situation.
Olaf's a crafty little bugger.
I love it. I love that you brought this up. People, I guarantee you everyone of our viewers would be
The
like,
forums are gonna go nuts
all day.
We're gonna lose people because of our opinion.
Episode 1. I can't stand this show.
There's thousands of replies on like Yahoo Answer arguments over this. It's like Goku versus Naruto tier stuff. Like you can't talk about it. But you know what? We're gonna answer the hard questions on this show, so I don't apologize.
Well, everybody, we thank you for joining us on this episode. We hope you continue to tune in. And this has been the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast.